Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive. You know we love to get into the details of interesting concepts, and today we're exploring Ikigai.
A fascinating Japanese concept.
It is. We've got excerpts from Yukari Mitsuhashi's book, Ikigai, to guide us. And from what I've seen so far, this goes way beyond just finding a dream job or a fun hobby, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
It's more about those tiny moments of joy, those things that make life feel worthwhile. It's like the secret ingredient to a fulfilling life.
Exactly.
Ready to uncover what really makes us tick.
Let's dive in.
Perfect. So first things first, what exactly is Ikigai? To me, it seems much deeper than the Western idea of finding your one life purpose.
I think you're right. It's definitely more nuanced. The word itself combines iki meaning life and gai meaning value. So instead of this big, heavy search for the one thing you were put on earth to do, it's more about recognizing the value in your everyday life.
So less about finding your singular purpose and more about finding those things that just make life feel good.
Exactly. It's those little joys, those moments that make you glad to be alive, that add up to a fulfilling life. It's like all the little ingredients that come together to make a delicious meal.
I like that analogy.
And you know what's interesting is that even looking forward to something can be a source of ikigai.
Really?
Oh yeah, think about it. Have you ever pushed through a tough day just because you knew you had something good waiting for you at the end?
Oh, all the time. Like a nice vacation planned.
Exactly. Or even just knowing you're meeting friends for dinner. That anticipation, that feeling of moving towards something you enjoy, that's part of ikigai.
Huh. Never thought about it like that. Now, when most people hear Ikigai, they probably think it's all about work, right?
Yeah.
Like finding that perfect career.
Right.
But it seems like this is way more expansive than that.
You're absolutely right. In fact, the book highlights this really interesting survey that found only 31% of Japanese people consider their job their main ikigai.
Wow, only 31%. That's really surprising.
Yeah, so it definitely goes way beyond career stuff.
I guess that whole Venn diagram thing we see everywhere, the one with all the overlapping circles about what you're good at and what the world needs and all that, that's helpful for finding a career you'll enjoy, but maybe doesn't capture the whole picture of Ikigai.
Right. The Venn diagram is a great tool for career planning, but Ikigai is bigger than that. It includes hobbies, your family, those simple, everyday pleasures.
So more holistic, like that perfect cup of coffee in the morning could be part of it.
Exactly. It's those little things that make you feel truly alive.
Okay, so we've established that Ikigai isn't just about work, and it's about finding joy in everyday moments. But how does this all tie in with happiness? Are Ikigai and happiness the same thing?
That's a great question. Well, shiawase is the Japanese word for happiness, and the author of Ikigai, Yukari Mitsuhashi, who's a psychiatrist, she describes Ikigai as a type of happiness, but it has this extra element of moving towards something.
Like a sense of purpose.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just being content, it's actively striving for something that makes life meaningful. Like, think about working out. It's tough in the moment, but you do it because you value the results, right?
Find a goal.
Exactly. And that's how it is with Ikigai. It's about valuing the process, the journey, not just passively being happy, but actively pursuing things that make you feel alive.
I like that. Okay, so we know Ikigai is about finding value in the everyday, not just waiting for some big future moment of happiness. But I'm curious how Japanese culture itself plays into this. Does it encourage this way of thinking?
Oh, absolutely. The Japanese have this deep appreciation for the present moment, this incredible attention to detail, and those qualities feed directly into the concept of Ikigai. Even their language reflects it. You know, they have different words for each day after tomorrow, specific terms for the start, middle, and end of the month.
Wow, really?
It's like they're wired to be mindful of time and how it unfolds, you know, savoring each stage.
It's like their language is built to help them appreciate the present moment more than we do in Western cultures.
I think so. And then you have something like haiku poetry where they capture a feeling, a season, in just a few words. Like, Bashu, he wrote. Deep silence penetrating the rock, a cicada's voice. Such a vivid picture in just a few syllables.
That's beautiful. It is incredible how much they convey in so few words.
Right. And it points to this appreciation for subtle details. Like, think about Hanami, the cherry blossom viewing tradition.
Oh, yeah.
They gather under the cherry trees to appreciate their beauty, even though they know the blossoms are fleeting.
And because they know they won't last, it makes them even more beautiful.
Exactly. And that ties back into Ikigai, this idea that appreciating those fleeting moments, the things that don't last forever, is what makes life so rich. Not just focusing on big achievements, but finding those little joys in the everyday.
This is giving me a lot to think about. Okay, so we've established that Ikigai isn't about this singular grand ambition. It's about finding those little joys in everyday life, and Japanese culture seems to really cultivate that mindset.
Yeah.
But now, how do we define our own Ikigai? Is there some kind of formula we can follow?
That's the big question, right? The truth is, it's different for everyone. There's no one-size-fits-all definition. The book really emphasizes self-knowledge as the key. It's all about discovering what truly resonates with you, and that takes a bit of introspection.
No easy answers then.
Yeah.
So it's a journey, not a destination.
Exactly.
But the book does talk about some characteristics of Ikigai, right? Some things we can look for as we're trying to figure out our own.
Yes, they present it as a series of comparisons, like A is greater than B. Each one highlights a quality that tends to be more characteristic of Ikigai. For example, Ikigai is more about enjoying your everyday life than waiting for some perfect future, making the day-to-day feel meaningful rather than putting all your hopes on some far-off goal.
Okay, so it's about appreciating the present moment, those little everyday experiences.
Yes. And another characteristic is that Ikigai often connects to the world outside yourself, like hobbies, volunteering, or even work that lets you interact with others and contribute to something bigger.
So it's not just about personal satisfaction. It's about making a positive impact on the world around you.
Yes. That sense of connection and contribution can be a big part of Ikigai. And speaking of contributing, the book points out that Ikigai is often more about giving than receiving. Like, there's a great example about Okinawan centenarians who find Ikigai in helping younger generations, in sharing their knowledge and contributing to their communities.
That's beautiful. It shows that Ikigai isn't about being selfish. It's about using your skills and experiences to make a difference in the world.
Absolutely. And there are a few other characteristics to consider. Being fluid rather than fixed, emotional rather than logical, specific rather than abstract, and active rather than passive. All valuable clues in the search for your Ikigai.
Wow. Okay, I definitely want to unpack those a bit more, but I think this is a good place to take a quick break and let all this information sink in.
Sounds good.
We'll be back in a moment to delve even deeper into the world of Ikigai and explore some practical strategies for finding yours.
Sounds great. Welcome back, everyone. We've been exploring this idea of Ikigai, this Japanese concept of finding value and joy in life.
And it's about more than just happiness.
Right. More about that active pursuit of what makes life feel meaningful.
Okay, so we've got a good grasp on what Ikigai is.
Yeah.
But I'm ready for the practical stuff. How do we actually find it?
Well, one thing the book suggests is paying attention to how you spend your time. What activities make you completely lose track of time?
Like getting totally absorbed in something you love.
Exactly. And on the flip side, what do you dread doing? What do you keep putting off?
I know I'm guilty of wasting time on social media when I could be doing something more fulfilling.
We all do it.
Yeah.
But by noticing these patterns, we can start to see where our true interests lie. Our time is precious, right?
Absolutely. Okay, so let's say we've done some soul searching. We reflected on those memories, answered those big questions, and we're starting to get a sense of what our Ikigai might be. What then?
Well, this is where it gets a bit interesting. Mitsuhashi, the author, she talks about how once she became more aware of her own Ikigai, opportunities started popping up everywhere. Like, she had books she'd owned for years that suddenly became relevant to her research for this book.
Wow, really? Like the universe was conspiring to help her.
It almost felt that way. But it also makes sense that once you focus on something, your brain starts picking up on things you might have missed before.
Oh, for sure. Like when you buy a new car, you suddenly see that same car everywhere.
Exactly. But I do think there's something to be said for opening yourself up to possibilities and trusting that the right resources will come your way. It's like by clarifying your intentions, you create this magnetic pull that attracts the things you need.
So it's not just passively waiting for Ikigai to hit you over the head. It's about actively creating space for it, being open to those little nudges from the universe.
Absolutely. And then it's about taking action. It's in the doing that we really discover our Ikigai.
Okay, that makes sense. But I want to talk about work for a second. A lot of people are probably listening thinking, well, my job isn't exactly my passion.
Right.
Is it even possible to find Ikigai at work if your job isn't your main Ikigai? Especially these days when work-life balance feels like a joke.
That's a really good question. And I think the book acknowledges that sometimes work is just work. You know, it pays the bills, but it doesn't have to be your soul's calling.
True. I think a lot of people can relate to that.
You do spend so much time at work, it's important to find at least some joy in it, right? Even if it's not your biggest passion.
Totally.
So the book talks about job crafting as a way to bring more meaning to your work.
Job crafting. What's that?
It's basically about intentionally tweaking your role or how you think about your work to make it more fulfilling. Have you ever heard of that study Adam Grant talks about where just downloading a different web browser made employees happier?
Wait, really? Just changing your browser?
Yeah, it's not about the browser itself. It's about taking initiative, customizing your work environment. It's about those little things that make you feel more in control.
So finding areas where you can make choices that align with your values, even in a job that might not be perfect.
Exactly. It's about reclaiming a sense of ownership over your work experience. And there's another approach called cognitive crafting, where you actually change how you view your work.
Like reframing it in your mind.
Right. There's this great example in the book about the bullet train cleaners in Japan. Their job is super demanding. They have just 7 minutes to clean an entire train car.
7 minutes? That's crazy.
Right. But these cleaners, they don't just see themselves as cleaners. They see themselves as being in the hospitality business. They're creating a comfortable and welcoming environment for the passengers.
Wow, that changes everything. It's not just scrubbing and cleaning anymore. It's about creating a positive experience for people.
Exactly. And that shift in mindset makes a huge difference in how they feel about their work.
So it's about finding a deeper meaning in what you do, even if the tasks themselves aren't super glamorous.
Absolutely. And seeing the results of your work is important too. We talked about how Japanese workers really value being thanked and acknowledged for their efforts.
Yeah, it's nice to know you're making a difference.
Right. And there's research that shows this too. Adam Grant found that call center workers who got to connect with the scholarship students they were raising money for, they were way more motivated and successful in their work. And Jane Dutton, who studies job crafting, she found that cleaners at a cancer center felt more purpose in their work when they understood how even small things like cleaning faucets could impact patients' health.
Wow, those are great examples. It shows how even seemingly mundane tasks can feel meaningful when you understand their impact.
Exactly. So even if your job isn't your ultimate ikigai, you can still find ways to connect with the people you're serving, to see how your work makes a difference. That can make all the difference in feeling fulfilled.
That's really helpful. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about what Ikigai is, how to find it, and even how to bring more of it into our work.
Yeah.
But before we wrap things up, I think it would be great to do a quick recap for our listeners. I know you've put together a nice little summary, right? Always love a good summary.
Right.
It helps to bring everything together, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's like connecting the dots.
So, are you ready to share your 10 key takeaways on Ikigai?
I am. Ready when you are.
Hit me with number 1.
All right, number 1. Ikigai is all about the value you find in life. The very reason you get up in the morning. It doesn't have to be this grand purpose, more about those little things that make each day worthwhile.
Right, those little sparks of joy. Okay, what's number 2?
Number 2. It's about finding that satisfaction in your everyday life and knowing you're always moving towards something better. Even if today's a bit rough, having something to look forward to can make a big difference.
That's so true. What about number 3?
Number 3, take a page from the Japanese. They're all about being present and paying attention to the small details. Their language, haiku poetry, the hanami tradition, it all points to a deep appreciation for the present moment.
Yeah, there's so much we can learn from them. What's number 4?
Number 4, remember Ikigai can be found in all sorts of places. Work, hobbies, relationships, even just enjoying a simple pleasure. The important thing is that it has to genuinely resonate with you.
It has to come from within. Okay, number 5.
Number 5, Ikigai and happiness, or shiawaz, are related, but not exactly the same. Ikigai is more about actively pursuing what brings you joy. It's got this direction, this sense of purpose.
Right, it's about actively engaging with life, not just passively being content. What's number 6?
Number 6, even if your job isn't your main Ikigai, you can still find ways to make it more meaningful. That's where job crafting comes in. It's about changing your perspective, finding those little things you can control.
So finding ways to make your work align with your values. Love that. Number 7.
Number 7, this is a big one. Ikigai is a journey, not a destination. What makes you feel alive at 20 might be totally different at 50. And that's okay.
Yeah, embrace the evolution. What about number 8?
Number 8, to find your Ikigai, look for clues in your past, present, and future. Pay attention to what excites you, what you do, even if you didn't have to.
Like, what are those things you do even if you won the lottery and never had to work another day in your life?
Exactly. Okay, number 9.
Almost there. Give us number 9.
Don't dismiss those little sparks of interest, those things that catch your eye. They could lead to something truly amazing. Ikigai often pops up when we're open to new experiences.
Staying curious is key. And finally, number 10.
This is the most important one. Ikigai isn't going to just magically appear. You have to take action. Explore your interests, try new things, get out there and experiment.
Yeah, it's about getting out of your comfort zone and seeing what happens. Well, that was a fantastic summary. Really brought everything together.
I hope so. It's such a rich concept, there's always more to uncover.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into Ikigai.
My pleasure.
And to all our listeners, remember that finding your Ikigai isn't about achieving some grand goal. It's about living with intention, finding joy in the everyday, and pursuing those things that light you up. So keep exploring, keep experimenting, and most importantly, never stop seeking out what makes life worth living. Until next time.